and I hope that all of you have installed Python and then installed Jupyter Notebook. And we have got some of the feedbacks that you people are working with Spider and okay with it. If you installed Anaconda and Spider and you are successfully executing Python code in that environment, so we have no problem with that. You can do that. So yesterday we have discussed that if we have to learn Python programming, it is quite similar to learning how to write essay. So you must know what are the letters which are available to you, how you have to create words, and then how you have to create sentences from words, and then how you have to organize those sentences into paragraphs, and then you have to write an essay by making those arrangement of those paragraphs. So in this line, we have already discussed that the letters basically they correspond to the character set which is available in Python. We have already discussed that the character set we classify into two parts: the source character set and the execution or the runtime character set. So the characters that you may be able to use for writing Python code is known as source character set. We have discussed that Python supports ASCII character set as well as Unicode character set. So the code cell that you are looking at the moment on the screen make use of Unicode character set. You have written the names in the Devanagari script and you have been able to execute as the output of this cell. But generally we do not make use of Unicode character set as such unless and until there is a specific requirement. So generally we make use of ASCII character set, which is consisting of and lowercase digits, special characters, and white space characters. So with these characters available to you, you can form meaningful names that you will be able to use, and those names that you give variables, functions, classes, modules, they are known as identifiers. So we have discussed the rules for writing identifiers. The prominent rules are that they do not contain any special character except underscore, and they do not start with any other character except letter and underscore. It can start with letter or underscore. They cannot start with digit or special character except underscore. Then we have already discussed that some of the identifiers, they are reserved for the use of the language. They have predefined meaning, like false, which is a Boolean constant, has a predefined meaning. You cannot use those as identifiers. You will not be able to write, say false is equal to 10. You will not be able to do that because false is reserved word. Although it follows all the rules for writing identifiers, but it is reserved. So this we have already discussed. Then we discussed about very important concept that is known as data object. Data object is basically the value which is there in the memory. So any value which comes in the memory is known as data object, and we can associate identifier with that data object. So you can just think of identifier as a label given to the data object. The entire concept in the Python revolves around data objects. It is not same as in other languages which are statically typed languages like C and Java, in which the concept revolves around your variables and the declaration of those variables. In Python, it is a dynamically typed language. The concept revolves around the data objects. You assign labels to those data objects, while in C language or in Java, you assign values to the variables. This concept we have discussed yesterday. So we have also discussed that it is possible to assign more than one label, or it is possible to refer to one data object through more than one identifier, as seen in the code cell 6, which is at moment on your screen. To A, we have assigned 1. It basically means that 1 is the data object that comes in the memory, and A is attached as label to that data object, and it gets allocated somewhere in the memory, say at 1136 address. Then when we do B is equal to A, this means that B is another label which is attached to the data object 1, which is already there in the memory. If you would have done the same thing in some statically typed language, you would have got two different containers in the memory as it is shown. So this is a very important difference that you must conceptualize, that you must understand, because everything revolves around. And when there is a data object in the memory, then this data object has certain address which is known as identity, and that you can check with the help of id function. So if I have to check identity of A, in other words, I want to check identity of the data object which is referred to by identifier A, so I can write id A. So this will give me what is the identity, what is the location where the data object which is being referred to by A is stored. And similarly, when you check what is identity of B, since both A and B refers to the same data object, you will get the same identity. And I will also request you to check that you can also check the identity by giving the value of the data object. Even if I start giving ID 1, then it has to be the same identity. Then the second type, the second attribute that is associated with the data is the type. So the type of A, that means the type of the data object which is referred to by A, can be checked by making use of type A. So it gives you int. So it is of class int. Similarly for B, and similarly are the values. Yesterday we have discussed that once the data object has been created, its identity and type cannot be changed. But for some of the data objects, their value can be changed, and those data objects whose value can be changed, they are known as mutable, and those data objects whose value cannot be changed, they are known as immutable. So the mutability of the data object, whether the data object can change its value or not, depends upon its data type. Yesterday we have discussed that some of the data types, they do not allow their objects to change their values. So like the data types such as boolean, int, float, tuple, range, they are immutable. That means the data objects of these types, they cannot change their value. But the data types,
Hello.
think Ajay has lost connection.
Hello.
Puneet, Dr. Puneet, you can call Dr. Ajay.
जी जी
one of the important concepts that is known as mutability of data object. Mutability means that whether you will be able to change the value of the data object in place or not. So we have discussed that the mutability of data object depends upon its data type, and some of the data types such as int, tuple, they do not allow their data objects to change their value in place, while other data objects such as list, dictionary, they allow their data objects to change their value in place. So then we started with the data types, and we have discussed that 4 major broad data types are there, which we have categorized into numeric types. In numeric types, we have further discussed that there are 3 types: integers, floating point numbers, and complex numbers. Long integers, which was available in Python 2, is not available, so that is deprecated. Then we discuss the rules for writing integers, and one of the good thing that you will not face the problem in this case is that there will be no overflow, because Python treats integer as long integers of arbitrary size. So if you try to print value of Google, you will be able to do that, which is 10 raised to power 100. So you have got 100 zeros here, so that is also not an issue. Then we have discussed that you will be able to write your integers in hexadecimal number system, decimal number system, octal number system, and binary. And the new thing that has been added in Python 3.6 is the use of underscore literals in the numbers. So you can make use of underscore just for the convenience, for the readability purpose. At the back end, there would be no issue. Then we discussed with Boolean, there are 2 Boolean constants, true and false, and Boolean is taken as a subclass of integer type. But when value is treated internally, if you get Boolean involved in some operation, then true is considered as 1 and false will be considered as 0. Otherwise, if you start treating integers as Boolean, then remember that 0 is taken as false, and any other non-zero value, maybe if it is negative, then that is treated as true. So 0 is false. Non-zero values, even if they are negative, they are treated as true. Then in floating point numbers, the numbers which are having decimal point, we have discussed that we can write in 2 different forms: point form and exponent form. In point form, we discuss the rules, and in exponent forms, we discuss the rules, and the use of underscore even in that is allowed. Then the third type that we discuss in the numeric category is that of complex numbers. We have discussed that a complex number has 2 parts, real part and imaginary part. And for a number to become complex number, it is mandatory that it has imaginary part. And imaginary part can be written as any integer or floating point number suffixed with either lowercase j or uppercase j. So if you write a number which does not have imaginary part, that does not become a complex number. For a number to become complex, it must contain imaginary part. The second important thing is whether you write imaginary part or real part as integer or floating point, it is always stored internally as floating point. So here in this d is equal to j, the imaginary part is 2. Although you have written imaginary part as 2 integer, but internally it will be stored as 2.0. So if you try to look at what is the imaginary part of this, so you will get value 2.0. Then the second category of the data types we have discussed is sequences, and there are number of sequences available in Python. Some of the sequences, they are mutable, and some of the sequences, they are immutable. So immutable sequences that we have discussed, they are strings, tuples, bytes, and range. Strings, we had a very elaborated discussion about it. We discussed single quoted strings, double quoted strings, triple quoted strings, raw strings, Unicode strings, and formatted strings. Tuple, we have already discussed that if you write sequence of expressions and then you separate them with comma, optionally enclosing them within circular brackets, that forms a tuple. And it is possible to access elements of the tuple with the help of index. So these sequences are collection of elements which can be accessed to non-negative indices. Bytes, we have discussed that byte is a type which is available for usage of 8-bit information, and sequence of 8-bit information use certain other data. The range is the data type which we commonly use. It is a sequence of numbers which we commonly use with the for loop. And we have discussed that there are 3 different formats in which you can make use of range. Range stop, only one will be treated as stop. If you give 2 inputs to the range, it will be treated as start stop. 3 inputs about those. Then we have discussed that there is one mutable sequence which is known as list, and list is, unlike tuple, list is written within square brackets. So as tuple is written within circular brackets or parentheses, list is written within square brackets. Then we have discussed about set type, our third category, and then we have discussed that set is unordered finite collection of unique immutable objects, and they are not indexed. Okay, and uniqueness is very important. So if you write b is equal to 1, 1.0 and true, all these values 1, 1.0 and true basically refers to value 1. So when the set would be created, these 3 would be treated as only one value, that is 1. So if you start creating it, so it will treat it as 1, and then 2 and 3 will be there. So if I execute it, so it will create a set of 1, 2 and 3 as indicated by the output of the cell. This is the output. So frozen sets, they are immutable set type. So frozen set, there is no literal constant for it. You have to use constructor for creating it. And then we discussed about mappings, the last type, and dictionary is one of the type belonging to this category, in which there is a mapping between key and value pairs. So here the keys are name, nickname, and age. The keys must be unique. The keys must be unique, and there is no constraint about uniqueness of the key. They can be duplicate. So this we have discussed yesterday. So I hope that this far is good, and if there is any doubt about it, you can put on the chat box. Otherwise, we can start with today's session. So I would like to have quick execution of few of the programs, and then I'll start with the expressions today. So this is very simple program that is being shown on your screen. I want to add 2 numbers simply. So what I have done is I have taken what is the first number, and I am taking input as discussed yesterday. We can get input with the help of input function, and the string that I want to give to the user for the prompt purpose is to be given as parameter to the input. So input, enter first number. So enter first number will be displayed on the screen. It would be tab separated, and then user will give the input. So the input that user gives is given as a string. Now since I want to take it as a number, as integer, so I have to typecast is, I have to convert string into integer, and for that I have done typecasting by making use of integer. So in this way I will be able to get number 1, and I will be able to get number 2. When I have done the processing part, I have added those 2 numbers. Operators we will discuss in detail, but for the time being, you know, plus is for addition. And then we have printed the sum of number one. Now the number one, because it has been converted to integer, I am again converting it back to string by making use of str. And then this is plus is used for concatenation of the strings. So the sum of is concatenated with the number one value, and then and is concatenated, and then number two is concatenated, and then the result is given. So if I execute it by pressing shift and enter, it asks me the first number, say I entered 12, and then ask me for the other number, say I entered 14, and then it says that the sum of 12 and 14 is 26. So this is pretty easy. So let's look at what are the components what we have written in this program, small program. So the line number one that you see, which is starting with hash symbol or the pound symbol, is comment. So this is only for the readability purpose. Am I clear? Anyone? Am I clear? Am I audible? Do you want me to fine tune anything? Dr. Puneet, am I clear? Okay. So, the line number one is comment, and we have discussed yesterday that in Python there is only single line comment available. That means the comment terminates with end of the line. Unlike other languages, which are say C or other languages in which multi-line comments are available, Python does not have any multi-line comment. So if some of you start writing it as a triple quoted string saying this is a multi-line comment, so this is a multi-line comment, and if you execute it, like you look at the cell now, I have executed it, but the lines that I have written in line number 1 and 2, they are not multi-line comment. They are the string literal I have written, but since I have not assigned this string literal, I have not labeled it, so this will be garbage collected. This will be garbage collected. So although it serves the purpose of readability, but technically it is not multi-line comment. It is a string literal. It will be processed by your interpreter. It will not be ignored. On the counterpart, comments are completely ignored by the interpreter. They are not interpreted. So Python, they are not parsed by the comments are not parsed by the interpreter. They are ignored, and only single line comment is available. The second line consists of the user input. So in a program, whenever you write, there are three major things that we work with. Input, we take the input, we process the input, and we take the output. Okay, so input, processing, and output are the three things that we have to work with while making our programs. So the input that we have taken is we have took the input in line number 3 and 4. So for that, we have made use of input function. Input function takes a string as an input and it displays that string. So you can optionally give the string as a parameter within parentheses and it will be displayed on the prompt. So when a user gives the input function removes the trailing spaces, the leading and the trailing spaces it removes, and then it returns the input string. So if you want input in any other format like integer as required in this program, so you have to typecast it, you have to convert it. Or we can also make use of evaluation function eval to get the input. Okay, and then the next line is line number 5, which is for processing. So processing part, we have just added the numbers. Now for the some time we will discuss print function because this is the function that you are going to use throughout. So print function is used for taking the output. Print function has this syntax. this syntax print, it takes inputs and one of the inputs is objects. So whatever you want to print, the data objects that you want to print, you have to give input to it. And then you can also give separator, which is optional. You can give end, which is optional. You can also tell about the stream where you want output to come, and flush. So print function takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inputs: objects, separator, end, file, and flush. So let's discuss them in detail. So like in this case, print 1 hello 1 2 in code cell. This code cell, I have given 3 inputs, 3 data objects. One is one data object, integer. Hello is another data object, that is a string. 1 2 is another data object, that is a tuple. So if I execute this cell, I will get output 1 hello 1 2. The value of all the data objects will be printed, but the data objects, the values, they are not separated by anything. They are not separated by anything. If you want to separate it, you can make use of separator option. So in this case, what I have written is, in the next code cell, if you look at what I have written is that print 1 2 3 and separate them with pipe character. So if I execute this, so I will get 1 2 and 3, and if you look at it, between 1 and 2 there is a pipe character, between 2 and 3 there is a pipe character. So you can make use of separator to put characters between the output of the objects. Instead of pipe, you can have any other character, like I want 2 stars to come between the object values. So if I put 2 stars here, now 2 stars will come between 1 2 and 2 3. Then the next input that we can give to our print function is that of end. So when print prints a line, it automatically ends it with the new line character. So if I suppose give this input, if I execute these two statements, print 1 2 3 and print 4 5 6, what I expect is 1 2 3 written in one line and 4 5 6 written in next line. The reason being is, when one of the output is complete by the print function, automatically it ends it with a new line character. Automatically it puts a new line character at the end. If I do not want that, so what I can do is I can say that end should not be a new line character, but instead it has to be a pipe. So I can specify that end is not new line character and has to be pipe. So if I do that, just observe the output that is going to come. If I do that, so now 1 2 3 followed by pipe is there, followed by 4 5 6 is there, followed by pipe is there. Okay, so the new line character, which is the default, I have removed that and I have put pipe character there. You can put anything that you want to do, any character. Suppose I want ABC here, and for this I want DEF here. So if I do that, after printing 1 2 3 ABC will come, and after printing 4 5 6 DEF will come. So the fourth input in the printf function is that of file, so which is a stream. And if you want to put the output onto the monitor, the default file is sys.stdout. If it is standard output stream, you will get on the monitor. If you want to get output somewhere else in some file or on some other stream, then you have to specify that, and this we will discuss while we will do files. Then some of the streams, they are buffered, line buffered, or they are unbuffered. So if we want output to be flushed we make use of this flush parameter, this flush input. So flush is used to flush the stream if it is buffered. So these are the 5 inputs that we give: the objects, separator, and file, and flush. Python is all about writing your code in a Pythonic way. Pythonic way is the elegant code you can write. Now the same code which I have written before, I can write it in this way. Okay, this is the same code that I have written before. Now what I want is, I want input, but I do not want to take input of 2 numbers separately as I did before. So I am asking user to enter 2 comma separated integer values. So user will enter 2 values comma separated, and I will take that as input. You know, input function removes the trailing spaces, converts it into string. This eval function evaluates that string, passes that string. Now if I give 2 comma separated numbers, say 12 and 18, 12 comma 18, when this evaluation function parses that 12 comma 18, in Python 12 comma 18 becomes a tuple, because I told you comma separated values which are even not included within parentheses, that becomes a tuple. So 12 comma 18 becomes a tuple, and that tuple is assigned to number 1 comma number 2, which itself is a tuple. So to number 1 12 will come, and to number 2 18 will be assigned, and then I am adding it, and then I am printing it, but printing it in a different way, a more structured formatted way as compared to my previous print. Previously I was converting my integers to string and then concatenating strings to form one output string, but now I am making use of format function to print. So let's look at the output of this code. So if I do that, it is asking me 2 comma separated numbers. I give 12 comma 18. The moment I press enter, it says that sum of 12 and 18 is 13. So look at how we can give the formatted output. That is our next task. How I can configure my output, how can control my output. So this string is known as formatted string. This string is known as formatted string, and I have used format method of the string. So the format method of the string is used for variable substitution and for value formatting. 2 things are there which we can use with the help of the format method. One is the variable substitution and another is the value formatting. We will discuss both of them. So let's look at the another print statement that we have written. This function, I have given string hello. Within curly brackets, I have written 0. And good morning, within curly brackets, I have written name. Dot format Ram, name is Sham. I have given this. Look at what are the components. All those things which are written within curly brackets within a string, they are known as replacement fields or placeholders. So these replacement fields or the placeholders are they will get the values from the format function. So 0 means the first parameter. 0 is known as positional argument. 0 is known as for positional, and the name is the keyword argument. Here is the name, it is the keyword argument. So name will be substituted here. If I execute it, I will get hello Ram. 0 is X of my positional argument in the format method. So this is the first argument. The index of this argument is 0. So Ram is my first argument to the format method, index 0. So this will be substituted to the place holder which is having 0 index. So Ram will come here. So it becomes hello Ram. Name is known as keyword argument. So this is name is equal to Sham is the keyword argument to the format function, because there is a name, there is an identifier associated with this argument. So this name is replaced in the field in the placeholder with the name. So when I execute it, so it will become hello Ram, hello Sham. I can also do it in this way. If instead of name I will again start writing 0, so it will become hello Ram, good morning Ram. Because for both the placeholders I have written that positional argument with index 0 is to be substituted here. I have specified the index, I have specified the position, I have specified the position of the argument which should come here. Dr. Puneet, can you mute? Yes. So I can also change this Sham, which is a keyword argument, to a positional argument. So now Ram and Sham, both of them are positional arguments because there is no identifier associated with these arguments. So they are known as positional arguments. They are governed by their positions. So Ram is having position 0, Sham is having position 1. So now I can write hello 0 means hello Ram, argument with index 0, and good morning 1, that means argument with index 1. So if I execute it, so it says hello Ram, good morning Sham. So in this way, string format method can be used for substitution, value substitution. There are few rules that you must remember while making use of value substitution, and they are very important rules. I will just quickly go through them. So the value substitution, the replacement field, that means the field which is enclosed by these braces, it can contain either integer or an identifier. If it is an integer, it refers to the index of the positional argument. If it contains identifier, it refers to the name of the keyword argument. The identifiers, the integers, they can go from 0 till n-1, where n is the number of positional arguments available in the format method. At the runtime, the positional and keyword arguments, they are substituted in place of the replacement fields. And the text which is not contained within the braces is copied as such. And the string is printed by the print function. So if I see at the output of this, 0 is the index of this argument Ram. So Ram is 1, name is 2, name is the identifier which is the keyword argument, name of the keyword argument. So the output will come Ram is 1, Sham is 2. If I execute it, so it will come as Ram is 1, Sham is 2. I can also write name is 1, 0 is 2. So if I do that, it will say Sham is 1 and Ram is 2. Ram is 2. Very important rule that you must remember. while writing positional arguments and keyword arguments in format method is that keyword arguments cannot come before positional arguments. In this format method, Sham is a positional argument because there is no name associated with it, while Ram is a keyword argument because there is an identifier which is name associated with it. So keyword argument cannot come before positional argument. If I do that, it says that positional argument follows keyword argument, and that is erroneous. I hope clear this error is coming, because this is the keyword argument. It cannot come before positional argument. Can anybody say quickly on the chat box, am I clear in my saying and how to correct it? How to correct it? So if I want to correct it, one of the way that I can do is I can remove this name with this Ram, and I can associate name with this Sham. This is one of the way. If I do that, see, it has now been executed. And the second way that I can correct is remove this name from here. Now both Ram and Sham became the positional arguments. Now since they became the positional argument, identifier name cannot come here because name corresponds to none of the argument. So I can write here 1. So now Sham is 1 and Ram is 2. Okay. What I can do is, if there are positional arguments given only, I can also leave this is blank. This is known as automatic mode of indexing. So if I leave the braces blank without giving the indices of the positional arguments, they will be automatically substituted. Here in the first brace, automatically it will be treated as 0. In the second brace, automatically it will be treated as 1. And if I enter it, it will say Ram is 1 and Sham is 2. And this is known as automatic mode of indexing in the value substitution. Okay. But remember, if I give 0 and leave other 1, so what I have done, I have specified 0 in one of the substitution field, one of the replacement field. This is known as manual specification, manual indexing. And for other, I am using automatic indexing. The mix and match of manual specification of indexing and automatic specification of indexing is not allowed. So either you have to specify for all the replacement fields, or you have to leave all the replacement fields blank. If you leave all the replacement fields blank, that will automatically done by the interpreter. So I hope you can give the output for this. 1 is 1, that means, okay. Can anybody give me the output for this? 1 is 1 and 2 is 2. So there are 2 number of positional arguments in the format method. So their valid indices are 0 and 1. But now I have started giving 1 and 2. So it will lead to error. Index is not valid. So this gives index error. And I hope you know, because it has to be either 0 or it has to be 1. So it can be 0 or 1. It cannot be 2. So if I do that, that will be correct. Okay. So let's correctly move on. So this is known as manual specification. Manual specification, this is automated. If you leave the replacement fields blank, this will get the first value, this will get the second value, third, fourth. So if I do that, it will say 1, 2, 3, 5 are prime numbers. It is important to note that it is not possible to mix manual and automatic field specification. It leads to value error, as we have already discussed. If I execute this code, we will get value error. Okay. So the number of the replacement fields must be less than or at most equal to the number of positional arguments. Otherwise, it leads to error. Now look at this statement. Look at this statement. I have written print replacement field, and format RAM. Quickly tell me how many number of positional arguments are there in the format method. How many number of positional arguments are there in the format method? Quickly tell on the chat box. There is only one positional argument in the format method, and that is RAM. So when the automatic field substitution will occur, it will say 0 here and it will say 1 here. So but the index argument with index 1 is not available. So if I execute it, it will say index error, because second replacement field will automatically have index of 1 and my second argument is not available. So that's why error will come. So remember, the number of replacement fields in your string must be less than or equal to number of positional arguments that you gave in the format method. Second thing that you must look is that even if there is keyword argument given, now one may argue that I have given 2 inputs to the format method. Why it is giving error? Reason being is you have used automated method for specification, field specification. It will say 0 and 1, but there is no positional argument with index 1. The second argument is the keyword argument. So you must specify the name here and the index of the first argument. So you have to write Ram and Sham are students. Once you have given name here, name refers to the keyword argument. This is automated specification. It will get 0. 0 index positional argument is there. So you will get Ram and Sham are students. Now it may also happen that your arguments, they are composite objects, like it may be tuple, it may be list, it may be list of strings. So you can refer to the element of the tuple or iterable by making use of index operator within the replacement field, within the placeholder. So 0, 0, that means first argument, first element refers to 1. 2, 0, that means 0, 1, 2. Second positional argument with index 2, that is this, and its 0 element, that is smaller. And 1, 1 is this 2. So if I execute it, so it says 1 is smaller than 0. Okay. Similarly, we can make use of dictionaries. We can make use of their keys to get the value. So you can look at this code, and 0 name, 0 is a dictionary. I am referring to the name key in that dictionary object. So it says Karan. Has height. So now another dictionary is there. I am referring to that zeros. Height is 101, and unit is another list. I am referring to the first element of the list, and that says this one. And similarly, if there are attributes, you can use attribute reference operator to get the output. So I can also get it like this, like complex number is having attributes real and imaginary. So I have got their values. So this is all about value substitution that you can make use by making use of format method. Second thing format method is used for is formatting, format specification. Very important when you do your format or your numerical computing. So I want all of you to write this, that if you have to format, you can give the field name, then colon, followed by format specifier. So suppose if I want to say you substitute, you take the value from my 0 field, so I can write down 0 colon format specifier, format specifier. Okay, so 0, as I already told you, this is the index of positional argument. This is the index of positional argument. Then we have to write down colon, and then we have to write down the format specifier. For next 5-10 minutes, we will focus on how these format specifiers are to be written. But I want you to write on your paper this string. For next 5-10 minutes, they are completely focused on this string. This is within the brackets align, and within the brackets fill. So whatever is written within square brackets is optional. That means when you are writing a format specifier, it is optional that you can write alignment. And if you are specifying alignment, you can specify filling also, with which character you want to fill. It can be followed by sign, that is also optional. It can be followed by hash, that is also optional. It can be followed by 0, that is also optional. It can be followed by width, that is also optional. I want you, all of you, to write it on paper, little bit in bigger size, all these things: fill, align, size, hash, 0, width, comma, dot precision, dot type. I am going to discuss all of them one by one. Now look at what this align is. Align means what type of alignment you want with your data object. By default, strings are left aligned, and by default, numbers, they are right aligned. So I repeat, by default, strings are left aligned and numbers are right aligned. If you want alignment different from this alignment, you can make use of alignment field. So if you put less than sign, output will be left aligned. If you put greater than sign, output will be right aligned. If you put caret, the output will be center aligned. If you put equal to, this is only valid for numeric types, and I will tell you what this means. This will put zeros between the sign and the digit of the number. That will be clear to you. But for the time being, just look at this statement. Thus, look at this statement. What I have written: print within brackets colon 7, within brackets colon 7, within brackets colon 8. So if I have written this, it automatically means this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Okay, I have not given the index number, automatically that would be substituted. But after colon, I have written 7. This 7 means width. If you remember, in our string, we have width written. So this 7, which is a number, is width. And this 7 is width, this 8 is width. So what does it mean? I want output in the field of size 7. That means Ali, which is a string, which is number 0, will be printed in a field output size 7, and this will be aligned left because strings are left aligned. 12, which is a number, will be filled in a field of 7 and will be right aligned. 1 plus 3j, which is a number, will be right aligned. So it will come on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I execute it, you will get this type of output. You will get this type of output. I hope all of you got this. Why we got this type of output? I have given field size 7. So if I don't specify, the Python will take field size big enough to accommodate the object. But now I specifically wrote I want output in field size 7, means 7 is the cell size in which I want output. Now I have used another thing, this greater than, this lesser than, and this caret. I hope you recognize this. What is this? This is for alignment. So now I have said you write down Ali in a field size 7, but instead of aligning it left, you align it right because I have put greater than sign here. Now strings which are by default left aligned, I have changed the alignment to right. And for the number 12, I have changed the alignment to left. And for number 1 plus 3j, I have changed the alignment to center. If I execute it, look at it, you will get output Ali 12, which is like this. Look at the image below. Ali will come in 5, 6, 7th cell, 1, 2, which previously, look at the above figure, which previously came at number 6 and 7, now it came at number 1 and 2. And the number 1 plus 3j, now it is center aligned. Have you got this? Just quickly write on chat box whether you are getting or not. Okay, so I can change the alignment of number by putting greater, lesser, or caret sign. Look at the next output. Look at the next statement. Print. Next statement. Print 0 star greater 7 $1 lesser 7 2 colon minus caret 8. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? So this 0 is the index of the argument. 0 says I want to work with Ali. 0 says I want to work with Ali. This colon is saying that whatever I'm writing next is the format specifier. This star is the fill sign. Fill sign. I am saying hello, am I audible? Hello,
Yes,
Dr. Puneet, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are very much audible, sir.
There is a message. There is no voice.
So that
Okay,
might be
good.
problem there, and
So
audible.
okay, let's come on the back again. So 0 is the index. Colon is that we are writing the format specifier. Star is the filling. Whatever cell is left blank will be filled with star. Greater than says that it is right align. 7 says I want output in field of 7 width. This is width. So what we have written 0 colon star 7 greater 7. So Ali will be right aligned. Ali is right aligned. Whatever is left is filled with star. Whatever is left is filled with star. Then I have written 1. It corresponds to number 12. I have said it should be left aligned. So it is left aligned. Whatever is left blank is filled with dollar. So these dollars, they are filled with dollar. Then I have said that you put my next number in size of 8, center align, filled it with minus sign. So once I execute it, if I run it, so look at it and compare it with the figure which is given below. 1 2 3 4 stars, 1 2 3 4 stars, then Ali will come, then Ali is there, then 12 will come, then 12 is there, then $5 are there, $5 are there, then minus 1 plus 3j, and then again minus is there. So we can make use of fill characters to fill a there is a question by Sudhanshu, but sir, Ali to left has or 12 right. Remember, strings by default they are left aligned, but I have said that string Ali is to be right aligned because I have used greater than sign here. So in the field of 7, Ali is right aligned. So that's why it came on 5, 6, 7 number cell. 12, which is by default, is right aligned. I have told that it has to be left aligned because I have used less than sign. So that's why it is left aligned. And the left of the blank spaces, they are filled with dollar. Am I clear, Sudhanshu? The Ali is right aligned because we have used greater than sign here. Am I clear? Now come to the next. Look at this statement. What is the problem? So I have written 0 star 7. Can you interpret what I have written? I have written, this is the index, this is for writing format specifier, this is the fill character. Which size we take, left or right? See, this is our left and this is our right. This is our left, this is our right. I am right-hander, so the hand with which I am writing is my right hand. So this is right. This is left. This is the size of field for Ali, 7. I have written 7. So Ali is right aligned, so it is aligned in this 7 spaces right. So that's why it came on 5, 6, 7. If I make this less than, so Ali will come here. Ali will come here. Am I clear? So now, so look at next. We have written 0 colon star 7. So this star is fill. This star is fill. Can anybody tell me what will be the output for this? Can anybody tell me what will be the output of this? Quickly tell on your chat box what is the output. Error. Kushi, why error? This will lead to error. This will lead to error because if you have carefully examined, why error? Because if you have carefully examined, the syntax was align and within the brackets fill. So it says that fill can only come if align is present. Fill can only come if alignment is present. Since here you have not written alignment, fill cannot come. Fill cannot come. So that is the error. That is the error. So look at the next part. Look at next. Print 0, 0 is equal to 7, dollar is equal to 7, 0 plus 7. So what does that mean now? Another things. So this says plus says that by default if number is positive in the output, we do not get positive sign. If you want to get positive sign for positive number, you have to make use of this plus sign. So the plus is for getting plus in output. If you want plus to come in output, by default plus is not written, but if you want it to come in the output, make use of plus. If you have used equal to, it means that your fill character will come between the sign and the first digit. So if I execute it, let me execute this cell. Look at the output, and I'll tell you what is come. 0 is equal to 7 says make a field of 7, print minus 12 will be printed. By default numbers, they are right aligned. Between the sign and between the first digit, put the fill character which is 0, so zeros they are filled here. For the next, it says make a field of 7. We have made a field of 7. Number 1, which is value 12, that will be printed by default right aligned. Equal says that put dollar between the sign and the first digit, but by default positive number sign is not displayed, so dollars they are placed here. Now I am saying that make a field of 7, and make a field of 7. Okay, plus sign says I want sign plus to be displayed. This plus came because of this plus, and between the number and the sign you put zeros. So between the first digit and the sign, zeros will be placed. So this is the meaning for this. Okay, so let's move ahead. You can also make use of comma separator. If you have bigger numbers, you can also separate it with comma. So like in this case, I have 11,234. If I want to print that, so I will write colon comma. So if I do that, comma will come after 1000. Okay, look at where the position of comma is there. I want to increase the size of the field. In this case, the field is taken as big enough to accommodate this, but I want it to be of 10. So what I can do is I can write 10 comma. Look at the structure that you have written. After optionally writing width, you can optionally include comma. So if I do that, look at it now. It has shifted towards right. I want to fill it with dollar. So I want to fill it with dollar. So I have sign dollar, but dollar can only be used if I use alignment. So look at it now. So I have filled it with the dollar. Leading spaces, the spaces at the starting, and then the number is coming, and then it is there. So any clarification required about fill, align, size, 0, width, and comma? Now we have left with precision and type. Now you can also print the number according to their type. So there are few characters that you can use. If you use B, you will get binary output. If you use C, you will get character. You will get decimal. You will get exponent form. You will get exponent form, but capital E will be displayed. You will get floating point form. You will get octal, string, hexadecimal format. So these can also be used. So this refers to the type, which means decimal equivalent. So I have written binary number, I have written octal number, I have written hexadecimal number. I want to print them in decimal number format, so I can do that. I want to increase the size of size. Can anybody tell me if I start writing D8, D8, D9, 6, if I write D8, D9, D6, what will happen? Error. Why error? Anybody can tell me on chat box why error? Error is okay. Why error? Yes, because if you look at the format, the width can come before type. The width can come before type. If you look at the thing that you have written on your paper, width can come before type. So if I do that, now look at it, that is fine. If I want to fill them with spaces or dollar or minus sign, so what I can do? Minus right line, minus right line, minus right line, which is by default. So look at the minus sign that I have substituted, the character which I have substituted. Okay. Similarly, I can do any other thing. Here also, I want output in binary, output in octal, output in hexadecimal, output in capital X. The difference between small x and capital X is that if you run them, if you use small x, you will get small case letters in output. If you have used capital X, you will get capital case letters in the output. So you got 0, 1, 0, 12, A. So this is about type. You will get a floating format. Floating format. Look at the font sign. Look at output of the cell number 42. Cell number, the output you will get prefixes 0B, 0, 0X. Output, if I remove it, if I remove it and if I run it, I got 1, 0. I got 1, 0. But if I put font sign here and run it, I will get 0B. I will 0B. Precision is the number of fields that I will get for the decimal. For the decimal. 0.3 says I will get only 3 characters. 0.2 says I will only get 2 after decimal. Look at it. The value of var for this variable var will come because I have written 3. Only 3 should come in the string. And 0.2 because 52 will come. Only 2 digits will come. So that's why it is rounded to 0.53. If here we have, look at it, it is rounded. So previously we had a value which rounded to 53, but now I have 5245. So it is rounded to 52. Okay. Sir, what is the use of hash other than printing zeros? Where is it? Sudhanshu? hash is basically used for prefixing these strings, and 0 is basically used for putting 0 between the sign and the first digit of the number, because generally if you have to write -12, so it is written as -0000012. That is the basic use. So they are not correlated as such. So am I clear? Am I clear till now? Dr. Puneet, if you can ask the students, am I clear, or they need to fine tune?
Okay.
Then
Sir.
we will look at few formatting.
Yeah. So all the participants.
What is the time for this?
Participants, are you clear?
What is the time
now?
for this session?
So it is till 11:30.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
So
So the participants are writing clear. Clear.
okay. So let's look at few programs and the string method that we are going to work with. I want you to quickly look at it. Our main focus is on the formatting part here. So I want you to work with this problem statement. Speed of light is 1,86,000 miles per second. I want you to use Python code to find out what is the distance traveled by light in 1 hour. Okay. Speed of light per second is given. And you know in 1 hour there are 60 minutes, and in a minute there is a 60 seconds. So there are 36 seconds in an hour. So you have to multiply light, the speed of the light, with the number of seconds. So I have written that speed underscore light. I hope all of you appreciate the rule that this is underscore is allowed in underscore is allowed in identifiers. Then underscore in numbers they use for convenience. So I have written 1,86,000 separated by underscores. So this is 186,000. I can also write it like this without without writing underscore. I can also write it like this. This is one and same. So if I wrote underscore, that is okay. Then I have multiplied it with 3600. Then I have used the format method of the string, and the formatting I have done with the help of colon and comma. So you tell me that if I write format specifier comma, what will happen? So 1000 separated by comma. So comma is used as a separator for the 1000 places. Matlab after 3 spaces, you will have comma in the output. So we got yes, Sudhanshu, after 3 letters, after 3 digits, we will get comma. Let's quickly go through second point. Light takes about 8 minutes 20 seconds to reach Earth from Sun, and 1.3 seconds to reach Earth from Moon. You use Python to compute the distance of Sun and Moon from Earth. You know the speed of the light. It is 1,86,000 miles per second. And the time that light takes to reach Earth from Sun and Moon, I have already told you, 8 minutes 20 seconds, 120 seconds. So quickly compute it. Everyone should do it. So speed of light is 1,86,000. Time from Sun is 8 minutes, which is 8 into 60 seconds plus 20 seconds. So it is 8 minutes 20 seconds. Time to Moon is 1.3 seconds. So distance to Sun is computed, distance to Moon is computed. Because distance to Sun is very, very large, so I have used exponent form. I want to put it in exponent form, so I have written 0.2e. 0.2 is the precision field. It says that output after decimal should have only 2 digits. E is the exponent form. You want it in exponent form, and comma is the comma separator. In the Moon distance, I want output to be separated, comma separated after 1000 places. So if I run it, look at it. So you got this, and here you got this. And remember, you got this 0. Reason being is time to moon is 1.3, which is a floating point number. So floating point number multiplied with integer gives you a float output. So distance moon is float output. So I want that. So that's why I got this. Okay. So swap two numbers by using a temporary variable. I want you all to do this. So number 1 comma number 2, that is a tuple. I want user to enter two numbers which are comma separated. I am taking it as a string with the help of input function. I am evaluating that string with the help of evaluation function. Evaluation function parses that string, returns the tuple, assigns equal to, assigns it to number 1 and number 2. I am printing it. I am making use of automatic field specification. There is no index for the positional arguments mentioned in the string, and then I'm printing it again. So output would be 12. So there is an error. Can anybody tell me why that happened? Quickly on the chat box, can anybody tell me why that happened? Dr. Puneet, can you unmute all so that I can listen to them why that happened? Yes, Shreyash, input has to be comma separated. So when I gave 12, the evaluation function interpreted it, returned 12. And now when I tried to assign 12 to a tuple with two elements, that started giving me error. So that is not allowed. So instead, I should have given it two numbers, 12, 15. So that should happen. And remember, for these type of errors in our course, I will tell you how to handle exceptions. Okay, so exception handling has to be done so that if the program is syntactically correct, but at the runtime users start giving inputs which are not meant for the program, then that exception should be handled. So we will see later in the course that how this type of error, runtime error, which is known as exception, can be handled. Kushagra is saying, sir, can you repeat this swap one? So see, Kushagra, we are asking user to enter two comma separated numbers. User entered 12, 15. Input function returned this 12, 15 as a string. Evaluation function interpreted, parsed this string and returned it as a tuple. Now this 12, 5, which is a tuple, is assigned to tuple number 1, number 2. If tuple is assigned to tuple, they are assigned element wise. So number 1 get assigned, 12 is assigned to number 1 and 15 is assigned to number 2. Now we have printed that before swap the values are 12, 15. Then in temporary variable I am putting 12. Now in number 1 I am putting 15, and in number 2 I am retrieving the value of 12 which I stored in temporary variable. I am assigning it to number 2, and then I am printing m. So this is pretty easy. I think this is a very basic program that we do in the initial. So if we do 12, 15, so it says that after swap this happens. Now I want you to swap two numbers without using temporary number. So this is the code to do that. So to tuple number 1 and number 2, we have assigned number 2 comma number 1 in Python. You can also do that, but in C and other languages you cannot do that. So if I assign 12, 15, so we get this output. Okay. So let's stop here. I would like to listen from you any queries, and when we resume, we will basically start with what we have learned. We will practice these things, and then we will move ahead with expressions. So I would like to listen from you. If any one of you is having any problem, you can put it on chat box. We have 2-3 minutes left.
Participants, if anyone has any query or any question, you can write in the chat box.
Question number 2. Which question number, Vishakha? Okay, Manan said his okay, the speed of the light. Okay, wait. So firstly, Manan, can you explain precision? Yes, I can do that. So this precision is basically telling you how many number of characters you want to get from a string, or how many number of decimal digits you want to display after decimal. So if you have written 0.3, it says that from string I am going to display only 3 characters, first 3 characters. So variable will not be displayed, only first 3 characters which are VAR will be displayed. And 0.2 says that only 2 digits after decimal will be placed. So now it is 0.52. Since 0.45 is there, which is lesser than 0.5, so when I round 0.5 to 45, it will be rounded to 0.52. So that's why output will come out to be, the value of variable is, where is 12.52. If I put 4 here, now 4 characters will be picked. So it will come VARI. Look at 4 characters being picked, and so on. I hope I am clear, Manan. Vishakha, question number 2. Question number 2 is this one: distance of the sun and moon from the earth. Speed of light is given to you. The time taken by light to reach earth from sun is given. So that is 8 minutes 20 seconds. So we converted it into seconds because speed of light per second is given. So it is 8 minutes, 8 into 60 plus 20. So this comes out to be 500 seconds. Okay. And the time of the moon, which is 1.3 second, is given. We just multiplied it, speed into time, to get the distance. And then we have printed it using our format specifiers. So basically the question was not for the computation. Question was just to familiarize you with the printing, the format specification, how you can print it. Then Ekant Garg is saying while swapping immutable doesn't matter. See, Ekant, it doesn't matter here because automatically at the back end, new data objects will be created, and the identifiers, which are the labels, they will be shifted to the other identifiers. So mutability, if you look at what is going behind the scene, then it comes into the picture. But if you are looking at the front end, if you are looking from front, then mutability does not create any problem in that. So behind the scene might be the different number of objects will get created. Harshveer Singh saying is 0.2f. So that is a 0.2 float. 0.2e means exponent form is to be used. Vishakha, 0.2e means exponent form is to be used, and 2 digits after decimal. So look at it, 9.3030 comes because of 2, and this e comes because of capital E. What does it mean? It means exponent form 2 digits after decimal. Am I clear, Vishakha? Sarthak is asking, can you explain how we get comma at 1000 place in moon distance question? We got comma at 1000 plane in moon distance question because after colon you have put comma here. If you remove this comma and if you execute it, there is no question of getting comma in your output, Sarthak. Am I okay? I have executed it again. The code cell number 57, Sarthak. Look at it. After this colon, because you placed comma here, that's why in the output you got comma. If you remove it, you will not get comma in the output. Any other query? Any other query? So, okay, Dr. Puneet, we'll
Yes, sir.
Vishakha is saying, how can we use plus 07? What is that? Vishakha plus 0. How can we use plus 07? For what purpose you want? Vishakha is asking how we plus 0.7 in the output. Vishakha, the distance comes out to be 9.30000 and multiplied by 10 raised to power 7. So that's why we got 10 plus 0.7. The distance from the moon, from the sun to the earth comes out to be so large that it is equivalent to 9.3 into 10 raised to power 7. So in the scientific method, if you have to write it, so it will be written as exponent plus 0.7, which is equivalent to 10 raised to power 7. Am I clear, Vishakha? Vishakha says okay. How we got? We got it by computation. Tanishk K is asking when we will get notes. So Tanishk, you will get shortly, but you will get customized notes. You will not get the entire of it. I will customize it and I will give it to the organizers so they can share it with you.
Okay, sir.
Any other query? Okay, Dr. Puneet. So we take break.
Yeah,
And what is the time for the next session to resume?
12:30.
12:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
Can we make it 1? Can we make it 1?
sir, one. So I'll discuss with the Mukesh sir and then we'll let you know, sir. Because
Mukesh sir is with me. He is saying okay.
okay, sir. Then it's fine.
Dr. Mukesh, can you convey to students that we have to meet at 1?
Yes, sir. We will message in the
Okay.
group also, and all the participants who are still there, you can join for the next session by 12:45 positively. So I think we should wind up the session right now.
Fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Dr. Mittal, and
Okay.
hope to see
Okay.
you at 1 now. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Puneet. Okay, Dr. Puneet.
Participants, you can leave now and make sure that you join back by 12:45 sharp, at sharp 12:45, so that you can start the next session on time. And if you have any queries regarding this session, you can then ask the Dr. Mittal. So all of you can leave now.